5 April 2020, and yesterday, Welshman Khuphe admitted that Thokozani Khuphe could recall MDC Alliance MPs in Parliament. He said if Thokozani Khuphe was to recall these MPs, that will not be a problem because the MDC Alliance will just go to by-elections and win against MDC-T. However, he said the main reason why Thokozani Khuphe and her side decided to go to court was because they wanted the proportional representation MPs. That is, I think there's 3 MPs in Bulawayo, 3 councillors, and also in Harare there's 8 MPs and 8 councillors. That means Thokozani Khuphe could literally recall all those proportional representation MPs as it is, as of today. If the two sides don't agree, Thokozani Khuphe could recall those MPs, those proportional representation MPs and councillors, and she can put her own people. And we're talking about today. This is something that Professor Welshman Khuphe actually said during an interview with my brother Zenzele Ndebele, who did a very good job interviewing him yesterday. So, many people do not understand the implications of this judgment, and if you want to know more, I suggest you go and watch that interview between my brother Zenzele Ndebele and Welshman Khuphe. Welshman Khuphe went into a lot of detail, explaining from the beginning of the issue to where we are now to the future. So I want to touch on a few of the issues that he explained. And he did a good job explaining other things, and he didn't do a good job explaining other things. For example, Welshman Khuphe did not explain the difference between MDC Alliance and MDC-T very, very well. He gave a breakdown of a process called an integration process, where he said the national councils of the 3 parties wrote resolutions to form the MDC Alliance, to transform the MDC Alliance into a political party. But he did not explain carefully or clearly what happened after the elections, which party was registered with the Ministry of Justice in terms of to get the fund, the Political Finances Act. It says that you must register after 30 days. He did not explain carefully and clearly which party was registered there with the Ministry of Justice. So I saw a bit of questions in the way he explained there. I also don't think that the MDC Green and the PDP had structures. So I do not think the national councils of those 2 parties wrote resolutions. I did not clearly see that process because I was following the MDC during the time leading up to the Congress in Guero. So Welshman Khuphe did not explain also whether the MDC held a 6th Congress or a 1st Congress. That was not very, very clear. He also said after the judgment, Komichi and Monzora have become enemies. He explained very, very clearly why those guys are now enemies of most of the leaders in MDC Alliance. He says Monzora was the brains behind the application. He's the one who was actually writing the papers. He also said Komichi pretended to be loving Chamisa as long as he was going to become vice president of the MDC. But once he lost, he turned around and jumped onto Monzora's side. So that was very, very clear. In terms of the judgment, Khuphe said the issues in the judgment are mute. The judges or the bench is politicized. They took the wrong case law, and he says, in fact, this application was just about money. It was about assets. So let's go to the issue of assets. Can Thokozani Khuphe take the assets of the MDC Alliance? he said she can, but she cannot take Harvest House because it is being leased to the MDC Alliance by a trust. So he then went to an emotional appeal where he appealed to all MPs in parliament to understand that they are there to represent the people against the junta. They must never work for ZANU-PF. Right, let's go to the way forward. In terms of the way forward, Welshman Khuphe said they will never agree to be led by a ZANU-PF project, even for 24 hours. He was very emphatic. And he said the order given by the Supreme Court is a physical impossibility because the National Council can no longer be recalled, as most people have said they support Chamisa, and they're not going to be called into a National Council by Douglas Monzora or by Morgan Komichi. So it's a physical impossibilities. He says the two don't have the numbers to call the National Council, and only the National Council can call an extraordinary Congress. So this is it. The president of the MDC can call a Congress, but she cannot call an extraordinary Congress. It can only be called by the National Council. And he says that these guys won't be able to have a quorum. So let's go to the true issues that we've raised now. The assets, the MPs, Thokozani Khuphe can get those. However, in terms of support within the party, if Chamisa does not say to the people, go and do this, then it will be a physical impossibility for the National Council to sit, so the extraordinary Congress won't be held. This is what Welshman Khuphe said. For lessons learned, he said that things could have been done differently. There are problematical legal issues, but politics is not about legal issues. Then he said he has learned that they should create constitutions that will not constrain the organization. And finally said we should not be slaves of legal processes. That is Welshman Khuphe. He's a top lawyer. Right. In conclusion, this is what I want to conclude. My conclusion is that we are going into a very interesting period. MDC MPs in parliament are going to have to make a decision. Do they stick with Chamisa and lose their seats? Or do they go with Khuphe and lose their, well, they basically sold their souls, according to what Khuphe is saying here. So that decision is going to be made. The proportional representation MPs, the ones that have openly opposed Thokozani Khuphe, could easily be recalled. It's very easy to do that. The councillors could easily be recalled. But Komichi and Monzora have already said they're not recalling those guys. What do I suggest? I suggest that Thokozani Khuphe, Welshman Khuphe, Tendai BT, and Nelson Chamisa, they work together very, very well, because this is about the people. This is no longer about personal interests. I think this is an opportunity to unite. No one is going to win. Everybody has to be considered, and no one is going to win by taking a headline. I think this is a good opportunity for these guys to work together. Welshman Khuphe and Tendai BT, they are probably going to end up the biggest losers, because the court has ruled that the party cannot have 3 vice presidents. So it's important to incorporate them into this whole process. And as I said, public insults need to stop. If the MDC guys work together behind closed doors, this thing will be fine. But if they continue going into public, sending their supporters to insult the other leaders, it's going to work well. It's not going to work well. It's going to be a problem for both sides. And I think these guys understand it. I can see a bit of change in the way people are engaging online. I think after a few weeks, we're going to see real movement towards a solution in the MDC. The best solution is for a united MDC. Everyone goes to Congress again. Anyone who wants to contest, contests. And those people that win are allowed to take positions. Those that don't win accept those that have won. I think that is the best solution. But according to Weshman Ngube, it is possible for Thokozani Khuphe to recall MPs. It is possible for Thokozani Khuphe to take the assets. Maybe she can fail to take Harvest House. But if there's a car, if there's money in a bank account, Thokozani Khuphe could take that money. If you take that money out now, she could follow you and she can get that money back. Or she can send you to jail for doing that. This is what Weshman Ngube has said. So I'm going to attach on gambako.com a link to that interview. Please go and have a look. My brother, Zenzel Ndebe, good job. He did a very good job interviewing Professor Weshman Ngube. So he says he's going to get Thokozani Khuphe to come and do an interview with him. As soon as he does an interview with her, I'm going to summarize it for you. I know many people in the rural areas. You'll be able to get this on WhatsApp. So please send this to as many people as possible. And if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, and share.